What's up YouTube, this is APiPhoneHelp, and today I'm going to show you guys how to replace a cracked screen on an iPhone 4 and or 4S. This one I'm using an iPhone 4 from AT&T. This is, you follow exactly step by step, but for each iPhone 4 or 4S, it's basically the same concept. There's like little differences, but this is the iPhone 4 for AT&T.
Warning: this content is intended to be used for entertainment purposes only. You are using these video instructions and its content at your own risk. APiPhoneHelp is not in any way responsible for any damages that may occur due to following directions on this video. Following these directions in this video will void your warranty. You are performing this repair at your own risk.
Alrighty guys, so the first step you're going to want to do is to turn the phone off. So if you just hold it, the power button, make sure that phone is off. That way it is 100% safe to work with and you won't mess anything up. Now the second thing you want to do is you're going to go to the side of your iPhone here and you are going to eject the SIM card from it. Since this is AT&T, it does have a SIM card. So you just eject the SIM card from it. There we go. And that way the SIM card stays safe, and then we're going to work from the back. The next step, once you have it on the back, is we are going to go and take these two screws, screw here and a screw here, out. We are going to use the Pentalope screwdriver. It's a small 5-star screwdriver that only Apple really uses, and they do this so that way you have to use a Pentalope screwdriver because that's Apple. So we're just going to take apart these screws right here. And then when you do that, you put them to the side and make sure you put them on like a piece of paper or something and note exactly which two screws these are. That way you know exactly how to put your iPhone back together. Alright, now the next step is to just take off the back panel. So if you were to replace the back panel, this is all you would have to do. You just take this and you slide it upwards. Very carefully, just slide it upwards, and you can see the gap at the bottom there. And it just comes right off. So if you ever do crack the back panel glass, it is only like a 5-minute replacement, and this is how you do it. You just take that, put the new one on, and boom, you're done. But since we are replacing a cracked screen, we are going to do a lot more because this requires a lot more work. So the next step is going to be taking out the battery, which is right here, and it is screwed in with this screw right here. So we will get a close-up view of that now. Alrighty, so for this one we are going to take our Phillips screwdriver, and I believe it is the 00 Phillips screwdriver, and we are going to unscrew this screw right here. And then we just, of course, put this over on our piece of paper that has everything labeled, and just take the quick time to label it. Except after we do this, we're going to take a flat screwdriver and we are going to take this piece off right here. I don't know if you can see. There we go. We just take this piece off and it just pops off real quick. And there we go. So we just pop that piece off and we take it over to, we take this little piece here. It's a little tiny itty bitty piece. And we put that with our screw. And now we have the battery connector off and we are ready to take the battery out. Alright, now if you're taking the battery out for the first time of your iPhone, this is actually a lot more complicated than everyone else makes it seem. Everyone else just picks this up and the battery comes right out. No, that never ever ever happens for the first time you take the battery out. But you are supposed to take this little flap here, hold your phone down, and just pick it up. But it's very, very, very glued in there. So what I do is I take my metal pry tool or my Phillips screwdriver and I just kind of put it in between and use that first, and that's what you should hear. You should hear all that adhesive coming up, and then we have it up here, and then what we're going to do, get that again, and then we just kind of peel it off. And there we go, that is the battery. So we just can set that to the side. So the next thing we do is we are going to disconnect this little plug right here. And that is the hardest little plug to reconnect after putting the screen back in. But it is pretty easy to disconnect, because all you do is you take your flathead screwdriver and boom, you're done. It's unplugged. So we're just going to take it. If I can get it. There we go. And just bend it back. It's just a little wire. And as you can see, it is right there. And then after we do that, we are going to take these two screws up here. So I will move the iPhone down. These two screws right here and right here. We're going to take them out. They just require a Phillips head screwdriver. And I'm going to use my green ones here that I got from, I believe it was from phonepartsusa.com. That's a great place to go to get all your parts. That's where I got my screen as well. And there we go. Set that one over to the side. And set this one over to the side. Alright, so now once that is out, you take your flathead screwdriver again, and you just take up this piece right here. It's just like a little metal, not connector, but a little metal like shield for a connector. Set that to the side. And what we're going to do here with this battery little thing is we are going to flap it back and stick it down there. That way it just stays out of our way. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to disconnect this little connector right here, which you just take your flathead screwdriver or your pry tool or whatever, and you just carefully, very carefully, pry up on it a little bit on there, and then the rest of it will come off. And then you can just take this, it's adhesive onto that, so you just take it and you just bend it back like so. After you do that, you can just let that sit there, and that's just going to sit there for the majority of the time that we do this whole entire iPhone process. So the next step is we are going to take two screws out here. We are going to take this screw right here out, and we are going to take this screw right here, if you can see it, right there, out. And what that does is it disconnects, or it takes, or allows you to take this speaker assembly here out. So let's get to that process. And guys, don't forget, make sure you are putting these on a separate piece of paper, that way you don't lose these screws here. And make sure that you are writing down exactly what these screws go to. There we go, I had to get a more magnetic screwdriver here. Exactly, make sure you write down exactly which screws these all go to, because once you put it back together, this is a pain to get apart, so, or to put back together if you don't know the screws. So make sure you are writing down every single screw. Make sure you just pause this video and just write them down real quick. Alrighty, so the next thing we're going to work with is we're going to work at the top of the iPhone, as you can see here, and we're going to take apart this right here. We're going to take this metal shield out, and it just acts as a shield for all the connectors and everything. So once you take that shield out, then we can disconnect a lot of things. So let's get started here, taking this shield out. There's a screw here, 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 here. This is a long screw, and right here. And that's the only screws that we have to take out really for this process. So let's get started. We'll start from left to right. And then finally we're going to be able to take this one out. And this is a long screw. There we go. And you might have to get your finger and your fingernail in there or whatever and just take the screw out yourself. Or you actually might just have to take the whole connector and wait for the whole connector to come out for you to take the screw out. So let's see what we can do here. So this connector is a little bit tough to get out here. You just kind of have to like wiggle with it, and eventually you will get it to come up. So we can take this screw out now if we can. But eventually you will get this connector to come out. You just kind of have to wiggle. There we go. Wiggle with it a little bit. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. You do have to wiggle with it a little bit. Don't wiggle too much, because then you actually will have problems with it. There we go. I got that screw out. You will have problems, maybe like ripping a cable or something. So don't wiggle with it too much. But we do need it to come out. There we go. And eventually this will come out, as you can see. And we just put this on our piece of paper, kind of over these screws in such a way that we know which screws go where. And you will be left with this. So the first connector that you want to disconnect is going to be this connection right here. This is the the camera. So this is the connection for the camera. I'm just going to take this out. And then you just pull the camera out like so. Oh. And then, I'm sorry, we take this connector and then the other two connectors right here, right there, and right here. Take those two out, and then we can just pull the camera out with ease. And this is the camera, if you can see it. It's a pretty small camera, it's a pretty small device. You just put that on our piece of paper, make sure we don't lose it. And now we're going to disconnect the other connectors here. There's 3 at the top, 1, 2, and 3. And once we disconnect that, we can unscrew the rest of the logic board. 1, 2, and 3, done. Now, one of the more difficult or different screws that we're going to disconnect is right here, and I think there's only 1 or 2 of these screws in this whole assembly, but this one you actually have to use your flathead screwdriver for, so make sure you do have a flathead screwdriver, and it is right here. Right there's the screw, and basically it's a flathead screwdriver, but another screw screws into that screw, the head of it, so it is a special type of screw. So we are just going to get it here, and we are going to unscrew this, and there it is. So if you can see this screw, there we go. It is a flathead screwdriver, or flathead screw, that another screw screws into. So that's why it's so special. And we're going to also put that towards the top of our piece of paper, but don't put it with the other 5 screws that we just unscrewed to see this part, because we're going to put that screw all in a bundle with a logic board, which is this entire piece right here. It goes all the way to the bottom. So, and actually that is not the next thing we're going to take out. We are now going to take out the vibrator motor, which is right here. This is connected with 2 screws, here and here. This is a very, very easy process. Probably one of the easiest processes while doing this. So we just take this one out. This is a small screw right here. Now we're going to put this over with our piece of paper. And we take this one out, and this screw right here is a longer screw, and it should just come out. I'm just going to screw it out a little bit more. And there we go. The whole entire vibrator motor there comes out, and this is a really easy process. So make sure you put that with your piece of paper and don't lose that, because you won't have a vibration setting on your iPhone. Alright guys, so the next thing we are going to do is we're going to take our flathead screwdriver again, and we are going to go right here where this little white dot is, and we're going to take that little white dot off. So you just try to peel it off with your flathead screwdriver. There we go. It's pretty easy, and that basically tells Apple if you had any damage or any water damage specifically to your iPhone. And then once that is off, the screw is right here. It is a Phillips head screw. So we are going to unscrew that. And make sure you put that screw over with the other one from the logic board. And that is all the screws that we have to take off for the logic board. The logic board, which is this entire thing here, should just come right out very easily. Now if you followed every step, this does come out very easily, and you should have no problem at all getting it out. If you did not follow each step, you might have did something wrong. Do not force that logic board out, because that is the entire computer of your phone, and your phone will no longer be able to work. Alrighty YouTube, now the next step is to take this assembly out, and basically all you do is you just pick it up, because we already took the screws out of it. So this is an easy process. All you're going to do is just pick it out of there and set it over on your piece of paper with your two screws that we already unscrewed. Now make sure you are setting it with those two screws specifically, and they are the correct screws, because they won't be able to screw back in if they're the wrong ones. Alrighty guys, now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take 4 screws out. They are located at each of the corners, so right here, right here, right here, and right there. These are easy screws to get out, except for this one because of the angle that you have in order to get it out. So that is the hardest screw. Don't get frustrated, and do not, whatever you do, do not, I repeat, do not strip this screw, because you won't get it out then. So be very careful with it, gentle, fragile, whatever you want to say. But the screws are again located right here, right here, right here, and right here. And what I do is I kind of just put it on the side. So just put it on the side, and again I'm going to just start from the top and take these screws out. And that was the first one. So make sure you put them on your piece of paper. They don't really matter which corner they go to, but just make sure that they are all together and you don't lose them. Now I'm going to work around this way, and this is just the way I like to do it. You guys can do it any different way you want, but right here's the other corner screw I'm going to take out. There we go. And you just take this screw out very gently, and once you have it, put it over with your piece of paper, and we'll go to the next one. The next one is at the other corner here, and we just gently take it out. And we are going to go to the hardest screw here, and if you can see, this screw is actually located, let me see if I can zoom in here. Alright, this screw is right there. Right there. So it is a tough angle to get at, because you have this piece in your way right here. So don't worry, just kind of go at it straight and we'll see what we can do. and I think I actually got it first time there. Now guys, don't be discouraged if you can't get this the first time. I've done iPhone replacements at least 50 times, so this process is a pretty easy process for me, but my first time did take me like 2 hours ish. So if you need to stop the video, stop it until you get all your screws out, but don't be discouraged about that. Alrighty, the next step is we're going to not take out but just loosen 6 different screws, and they are located right here, right here, right here, and then on the opposite side they are located right here, right here, and right here. Now what you want to do is you want to just loosen these screws, just maybe 1.5 turns of the screwdriver, if that. That way they are loose and they are not off, because if you take them off it will take you twice as long to put them back in, and it is a very frustrating process, but it can be done. I've done it multiple times when I first started taking apart iPhones. So make sure you are just loosening it. It's a tip that I've learned through the process, and once you loosen it you can just take the screen right off. You don't have to actually take the screws out to take the screen off. Alright, so like I said, you just want to loosen these screws just a little bit. They are very small screws, so don't turn them too much. And you can always turn them more if you feel like they're not loosened enough. But if you loosen them too much and take them off, then you have to put them back on, and it is a very, very difficult process. I mean, you learn after a couple iPhones, you learn that, hey, there's a different way to do this, so make sure you are doing that. Just loosen it a little bit, and now we are going to take the actual screen off. The next step is you're going to take the flathead screwdriver, and a lot of people don't do this, they just take their opening tool, but the opening tool is really not, it doesn't really work that well for me. And I just take the flathead screwdriver and just run down and try to pry the iPhone open until I find a spot, and there we go, I actually did find a spot there. So you just run the iPhone the whole way across, boom, 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 and boom, and then you can take your opening tool here and do that again. Actually, if you want to just do that, and after you get the initial one out, you just run it the whole way across. And now, since this is a broken screen, it doesn't really matter if you break it more because it's already broken. And you just run it the whole way around until you eventually hear it popping off from the adhesive. And if your screen is cracked and you do not have anything on it, you will be getting glass places, some places, so just make sure you are very careful with the glass, because it does suck to get glass in your hands and in your fingers and stuff. There we go. So that was actually my problem. I did not have these screws out enough. I'm going to take different tools here. I just like to see which ones work better. Alright, now once you do start getting it out, it will look like this, and this is a hard process because the first time you get it out there is adhesive and it is stuck like crazy. I don't know if you can see the adhesive right there. And you basically just want to kind of pull it apart and just be very gentle with it at the same time. So let me see if I can get the screwdriver in there and try to break this adhesive. But just be very careful when doing this. There we go. That part's out. And there we are. We have the screen out fully. There we go. And just take these out, and that is the screen. Now, as you can see, there are obviously parts here of the screen that are not here. So what that is basically means that they are still stuck to your iPhone, and they are right here. And you just want to very carefully take your screwdriver or your pry tool or whatever, and just take these pieces off real quick. Alright, and after you have the all the glass off, you're basically done, and you just put it back together. If you follow the link in the description, there will be a link to another video of how to replace and put the screen back onto your iPhone. Alright YouTube, I hope that I was able to help you guys out in figuring out how to take apart your iPhone 4. This one was for AT&T, but the Verizon one is pretty much the same, and the 4S is pretty much the same. The only difference really is where the vibrator motor is. But other than that, I mean, it's pretty much the same exact concept. You just take apart just like that. Don't forget all the little tips I told you throughout the way. And if you have any questions, leave comments down below. If this video helped you out, like this video, and make sure you are subscribing to my YouTube channel. That way you can see all the other videos that I post. And the place that I get the screen was Phone Parts USA. I either get it there or from directfix.com. So those are the two places that I would recommend you going. Just don't go to Amazon because A, it takes forever for them to ship it to you, and B, it's not the most quality parts that you're going to get. So I would either recommend Phone Parts USA or directfix.com. Those are my two favorite places to go for iPhone repair parts. And like I said, make sure you are subscribed, like this video, leave comments down below. And oh, also the video to put the screen back on is right here. As soon as I make that video, I will put it right here. And there will be links in the description down below. So make sure you are subscribed, and I will catch you guys later. Peace.